So in today's Am I the Asshole post, we have OP saying, would I be the asshole if I didn't share my inheritance with my brother? So today on Decoy Noise, we got me, the decoy, got another solo track going on right now. We're still going to continue the podcast on decoynoise.com, but this channel will take a little bit of a different direction. Please subscribe if you haven't already, but let's just get into the video right now. So OP asks, would I be the asshole if I didn't share my inheritance with my brother? Me, I'm a 26-year-old female, and my brother, a 27-year-old male, grew up close. But as most kids do, we eventually grew apart in our teens. My brother wound up dropping out of high school and falling in with the bad crowd, but I got a full ride to college. I don't begrudge my brother for not going to college. College isn't for everyone. And sometimes education in general is just not compatible. That's fine. I love him dearly, still do. It's just that he's 27, never had a job, any job, literally, any job. He lives in an apartment paid for by my parents in a very expensive part of the city and does nothing but smoke pot and play video games all day. He knows my mom is too afraid of him being homeless to stop supporting him, and my dad just goes along with it. They've refinanced their house several times to support him, which meant they never supported me financially. Recently, my grandpa died. I was really close to him, and the news hit me hard. I would go over once a week, at least to clean his house. He was 95, go grocery shopping, run errands, hang out, etc. My brother was not welcome in my grandpa's house because he had in the past stolen things. Multiple times he had stolen valuables from Italy. When my grandpa was born, he stole a TV once. He stole my deceased grandma's jewelry, all to pay for weed. I'm just going to chime in right now. That sounds like he's paying for more than weed. If you're stealing a TV and valuables from Italy, you have that. I guess people can be addicted to weed that bad, but that sounds like meth or heroin. But let's just go on. I was informed by the executor of my grandpa's estate that I inherited one of his houses and a decent amount of money from him. My brother inherited money as well, but far less. Think $100,000 to $10,000. I feel awful. Yeah, my brother can be a shithead, but I do love him. I'm sure he has some undiagnosed mental issues. Recently, my mom came down hard, hinting out that flat out informing me that I was to share the ridiculous amount of money with my brother so he can get on his feet and my mom could have a break supporting him. Thing is, I don't want to share. I know it's a lot of money in a house, but I don't want to enable my brother to continue his lifestyle. I don't feel like it's my job to worry about what my parents do, because it's their choice, but I don't want to help. My mom is mad, my brother is mad, my dad is mad, so now I wonder if I'm being an asshole for not giving a bit more. So, would I be the asshole? I guess one thing I'll just chime in first. I don't think they're being an asshole right now. It's their inheritance. Grandpa gave them the money. They can do whatever they want with it. So I think everybody else is being the asshole in this sense where it's like the brother wants a piece of what grandpa's wishes were for the daughter to get the granddaughter to get her 100K. The brother's still getting something anyway, so why are they complaining? It just sounds like a whole bunch of entitlement, and not everybody being an asshole, but just the mom. But you know what? With Decoy Noise, we're going to go to the top comments, see some relatively good advice, and go to controversial comments to try to find some shitty advice and see where this goes. So they did an edit, actually, said, wow, I did not expect anything near this kind of feedback. There are so many comments and pieces of good advice that I can't reply to them all, but please know I've read and taken to heart every single word. And all you have strengthened my resolve that I have allowed to say no, thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Even the few people who said I was too harsh, I appreciate your insight, every single one of you. It's kind of like this person's accepting an award for getting advice online, but I wonder how many people actually went on this thread and then PM'd her saying, hey, look, I'm seeing hard times. Can you possibly throw me some of that $100,000? Because that does happen with like lottery winners and such. I wanted to clarify something because a few people wondered what my parents got. It was my mom's dad and they didn't get along very well. But about 10 years ago, my grandpa gave them their inheritance early. I don't know all the exact details because I was a teenager and worried about other things, lol. But I do know my parents and grandparents, my grandma was alive back then, sat down with a lawyer and it was a very serious, and suddenly my parents had enough money to buy new cars that they needed. I think they also threw money at my high school to make them stop complaining about my brother, but that's just a theory. So yes, they were acknowledged in the will and having asked for and accepted their inheritance early. Okay, that's fair enough that they didn't get cut out. They did get some money. It's not like I don't know, like the inheritance thing, it's nobody's money. It's just the grandpa's money. If that was in his will and that's what he wanted, respect his wishes no matter what. So let's go down. So top comment from Sheba789. They got a, what's this thing right here? It's not showing me what that is. Okay, whatever. So, not the asshole. Your brother got less of a share because of his actions. He burned bridges with people and he has to live with the consequences. Plus, it sounds like you went above and beyond and have a great relationship with your grandfather. Excuse me. That is your money to give your brother more than your grandfather. No, that is your money, and to give it to your brother more than your grandfather thought he deserved it is kind of disrespectful, in my opinion. I eat too much. God, I hate these two names. Not the asshole. OP's mother needs to learn to let her son go and be himself, even if he would fall into a worse crowd and even invest in rehabilitation. One thing I would say, though, is oftentimes when like they're enablers, they just think they don't know what the best thing, and I'm not saying that I know what the best thing would do in that situation where it's like, do you keep on enabling them and let them use and just keep on falling deeper and deeper in their addiction, or do you just cut them cold turkey and risk the fact that they may end up, I don't want to say harming themselves, but falling in something much worse than just what is simply just addiction, which could be dire consequences. Let's go to the next thread. So, Alive15 says, not the asshole, and frankly, if you share it, you would be. Your grandfather wanted to, 1, reward the grandchild that was good to him and not a felon for stealing from him, and 2, dole out some of the tough love your parents refused to step up and provide. Yes, I believe that strongly, that Grandpa is given some tough love how do you say that word? Posthumously? When someone does something beyond the grave, posthumously. Oh God. I wish I knew what that word was. Okay, so he's doing it from beyond the grave. Your parents are failing your brother by enabling him. He has no reason to change his behavior because they support it. If you give in on this, they will expect you to take over supporting him, and when they pass, they have done nothing. That's a typo. They have done nothing to financially support you, and likely will have nothing for either of you, and then he will be homeless. That is true. You gotta pull off the band-aid now because he will no longer have a safety net later on. Respect your grandfather's wishes. Don't enable your brother to be a loser unless you want to take care of him like the overgrown, spoiled child he is for the rest of his life. Set boundaries with the parents and brother. I can't stress enough how important that is, and none of them see a dime from you. Astro Space Cat, so this guy's a cheater. I came here to say pretty much all of this. Do not continue enabling your brother. You'd be doing a disservice to your grandfather's last wishes if you gave your brother anything. You've earned what you have, both in school and from your grandfather, by being a good person, not the asshole. One more of these top comments. Stacy Yurt says, you are most definitely not the asshole. It is not your turn to support your grown-ass, jobless adult, weed-smoking brother so he can continue to be a grown-ass, weed-smoking, jobless adult. If your grandfather wanted to give him more money, he would have left it to him. Do not let anyone guilt you into occupying the role of caretaker of an able-bodied lazy person. Tell everyone to sod off and use your money and inheritance wisely. My sympathies on the loss of your grandpa. Yeah, that's the one sad part that's being overlooked right now, is the idea that this girl just lost her grandfather, and it just seems like all the vultures are coming to take her money right now. It's like, no, let her grieve. Don't let her think about, like, all the terrible things everybody wants to do with her money. So in typical Decoy Noise fashion, what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at the controversial comments to see the batshit insane advice you get from anonymous strangers online. Yes, -9 points. Capture Imagination says, nah, your bro is an asshole for what he did, but it's tough to reconcile with some juvenile transgressions with life-changing money. Anyone would be mad under these circumstances. There are a lot of these stories on this sub, and the answers are always, not the asshole, keep the money, it's grandpa's wishes, etc. But maybe there's another way if you love your brother. You can decide on a sum. Could be half of the cash, you keep the house, or less than half. Make it conditional, something no one has ever done in his life. If he can hold down a job for 5 years, it's his. Alternatively, he can start a business that pays him $35K a year for 5 years, verify it on tax returns. I feel like that's a very hard thing to prove, but okay. If he tells you to fuck off when you propose this, then you can walk away guilt-free, and honestly, there's at least 50% chance of this happening. Even if he does accept it, he will throw a fit first. But if he actually does it, you may be saving his life. He may try to do it via malicious compliance, but if he actually does complete it, he will be a changed man. It will fix his CV, his work ethic, and self-worth. And in society today, there is a lot of pot-smoking, video game playing, gentlemen of leisure. Hey, I'm a gentleman of leisure, but I don't feel like I'm in this category right here. Their families are well enough to support them, but not wealthy enough to buy them companies like the 1% do with their kids. They display signs of undiagnosed mental issues, as you say, when it could be possibly just an existential problem. That they serve no purpose in life, why they play so many video games. Video games give you a sense of accomplishment, ranking up, finishing levels, etc. There's a lot of people here who offer equal treatment to a brother than they would have someone on the street, so factor that into the decision. I think this person's getting negative views because they may be projecting a bit. I don't know. I'm not going to take this guy to decoy court, capture imagination, and try to figure out if you're a video game person, and that's why you're saying like the undiagnosed mental issues is a existential problem, and how they say, oh, video games gave them a sense of accomplishment. But I would say that I feel like drug use, video game use, any addiction really is just an escape from reality, where they're just kind of depressed on what's really going on, so they escape to that. And then when you have an enabler, they're saying, hey, you won't starve or being homeless, you're going to be fine if you just kind of lean into your addictions, then there's no reason for them to try to like make themselves better. So yeah, I don't think this is going to save them. I think this is just going to make them, it's going to enable them more. And then once you give them like a random hoop to jump through, like, oh, keep a job for 5 years and I get 50K, they're going to do that. They're going to be the same person. You just gave them some random thing to do. So Aaron B got a controversial response with 7 points. Says, not the asshole. Some will not like this, but listen to me. 1, you don't know why your grandpa left the money to you. Maybe he expected that you will have good judgment on his fate. 2, probably your brother has mental issues. Even if he's not diagnosed, probably he's not living a happy life while being an addict. I was too. I think you should share the money with him with conditions like having a job for a year, quit smoking, etc. You're a nice and more talented guy, but it's a girl, whatever. Be proud of it, and be proud of your capability to get over with the bad experiences with your brother. I think you will regret later if you keep it all to yourself. The world is not fair, but it is not fair for nobody. Maybe your brother suffered something in the past that nobody knows. You never know how one feels and what's going on with them. You only know one side of your story truly. Help him. I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Cheers. I appreciate this person kind of gave the girl a pep talk right there, and isn't piling on. So this was overall like a very positive, uplifting story in the sense of she lost her grandpa, but nobody's calling her an asshole. They're trying to give her good advice, but the only person that can really decide what happens to the money is the person that wrote the will, the grandpa. Grandpa gave her 100K. That 100K is hers. So if you like that video and you have a will to see more like that, please subscribe down below. Check out that video over there, but also write down below what you think the person should do with that money and why you think I'm wrong.